everyone. Yay, you're finding your way here. It's all so weird. I know. We're going to do the best we can.
Yeah.
So I'm Dr. Myers. Hello. I think we do have a few more people, so there'll probably be some more people popping in. And honestly, there'll probably be some people who haven't figured out it's remote yet, and we'll see them Wednesday. So, oh, and I promised Cam Meows, and he already had to come up and say hi. This is Simba. Oh, and look, Sims, there's another kitty. Yeah, he's not interested. He just wants to be near me. So,
You will make often
Theories of Personality. Hopefully, you've all found Theories of Personality, and you're not supposed to be in like a physics class. So, welcome. Today, we are going to go over some Zoom basics. We'll go over the syllabus, and then I want to give you all the chance to introduce yourselves, since we will be looking at each other's faces for much of the semester. So I'll start by telling you a little bit about myself. So I am Dr. Taryn Myers. I ask that you call me Dr. Myers or Professor Myers. One of the things we'll talk about is how much work it is to get a PhD. So just pet my ego, that's fine. So as you can see, I have a cat, Simba. I am married. I have a 2-year-old. She will typically be at school, so you guys probably won't see her, but she is around and might be the reason I have to take a call out of class sometimes. So we'll see how that goes. She does have childcare now, which we get for months, so that's sort of nice. Other things about me, so I officially have had a PhD for 10 years this week. I got hooded 10 years ago this week, so that was kind of exciting memory to remember. My PhD is in clinical psychology. So we think a lot about not only abnormality, but how things connect in people's minds along those lines. So this is a great class to teach for that reason. Other things about me, this is also my 10th year at Wesleyan. I actually got hooded a week before I started teaching my first year here at Wesleyan. I've been teaching there 10 years, this is my 11th year, which is kind of crazy. So I do love what you all do too, even though this is a weird semester, right? So I really like how engaged you all are. That's actually why I came here. And some of you have had me before, have heard this story before, but when I interviewed at places, faculty have to give a job talk to students, and everywhere else I went, maybe one student raised their hand, and you can tell their professor's kind of like elbowing them to ask a question. And then when I came to Wesleyan, probably 10 students asked really good questions. So it was like, that's where I want to be. And that's, you all have been, which I really, really appreciate. I teach mostly classes in psychology, but I teach a whole range of things. I also teach in the Women's and Gender Studies department. One of the things I mentioned in my email to you all that I really tried to do for you all this semester was to diversify our readings. So you'll see as we go through your textbook, it's a lot of old white guys, and that's great. They've made some contributions, but it means that sometimes women and people of color have been ignored, and we shouldn't be ignoring them. So I've been trying to incorporate some of those readings, but unfortunately a challenge the way things are written. Let me see if there's anything else you need to know about me. I am totally remote this semester because I have not one, not two, but 3 semesters for COVID. So thank you all for being willing to do this remotely. I'm sure you don't mind having class without masks on for once. It's gonna be, I know, an intense semester for all of you, and we'll see how long it is before this happens for all your classrooms. I mean, hopefully everything will go well, but places like UNC and Notre Dame, I'm not sure, right? So what I think to do for the first few minutes is go over some Zoom basics. And so the fun thing about Zoom is I can't show you Zoom while I'm in Zoom. So I made a PowerPoint, and it is ridiculously cheesy because it's me talking to myself. So apologies in advance, but I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so you can see this. Alrighty, so just a few things here about Zoom if you're not familiar. So yeah, again, really unflattering pictures of me talking to myself, but at least you all can see what it looks like when you're a participant. The problem I was having was that it kept on wanting to just make me the host of everything. So I actually had to use a browser. So you can use it in a browser, and some of you may be doing that already. You can use it on your phone. This picture here is on my phone. And then you do it on an app that you download. For Mac users, I've heard that actually the browser works a little bit better, so you want to use that. For Windows users, for me, the app works best. But just a few things here. You have the ability to mute or unmute yourself down here. I usually mute myself when I'm not talking, just in case Simba gets really talkative or my husband's home and putting dishes away. It can get pretty loud. And then you can also turn your camera off and on. Also, if you are, using something that has more than one camera, so for example, my laptop has an integrated camera, but I'm actually on a docking station with a much better webcam, which is nice. You guys can see me clearly. There's this little arrow, like a little caret right here. And if you press that, it lets you choose which camera you're using. So if I tried to use my laptop one right now, it'd be all black because my laptop is closed. Also over here, if you want to be fun and creative, you can use virtual backgrounds. Zoom has some standard ones, or you can use whatever picture you have. You don't have to, and I don't use them simply because they don't like curly hair. It gets really pixelated around my hair, and that's really, I don't want to make you guys seasick. So, down here, and unfortunately this is blocked, so let me see if the next picture showed it a little better. Unfortunately not. But down here, there is a spot, if you click it, it says participants. If you click that, you'll see a list of everybody in the class, and you'll also see a bunch of features that you can use. So here is what that looks like if you click it. Again, this was just a call between me and me. But here you can raise your hand. That's an option. And then I can see that you have a little hand raised. You can say yes, no, if I ask you something. If you click on more, there's a few more things. So those are options. The other things that are not here that you can use, if you click on these three dots, there are reactions. So you can give a thumbs up if you really like what someone's saying. So here's just participants and a little bit closer up, and you can see some of the other reactions. You can do thumbs up, thumbs down, and clap there as well, but you don't have to be in participants to do that. The other thing that you can do, and this is so that you could actually see, I kept getting that weird bar over it in the browser, is you can click on chat. So especially if you are in a place for class where it's going to be difficult for you to talk out loud, maybe your roommate is around, or you're from home and your significant other or your parents are around, you can use the chat to ask me questions, to participate in discussions, whatever. And sometimes that's a nice way to ask questions and you all can answer them before I even get to them. But I will definitely count, working in the chat as something I really pay attention to, something I count for participation as well. Here's what the chat looks like. Yes, I had a conversation with myself. Again, I didn't have anyone to do a demo with me. So, but so you all will ever be able to see it. And I would say probably if you do have a question in class, probably the chat would be the best way to go. You can type it out or write I have a question, just because if a couple people have a question at once and everyone tries to talk at once, it gets sort of awkward. So we can work that out as the semester goes. We'll also have discussion days, so we can figure out a nice system for that too. Because the only problem with the raised hand feature is Zoom doesn't show me who raised their hand first. So we might even just want to use the chat as a supplementary raised hand. So we'll figure this out as we go, but I just wanted to give you a basic orientation for those of you who are not as familiar with Zoom. Alrighty, so I am back. Oh. All right, anyone have any questions about Zoom just based on that little thing? I bet you a bunch of you have started using it already. I didn't want to dive in assuming that, so. Well, and definitely feel free to ask me throughout the semester. Know that this semester we're going to probably spend a lot more time on technical things than usual, right? So we could spend time chatting about things like this. Another thing I should fully disclose to you is that I am recording all of our class sessions. So this one is recording. And that is because I recognize that, unfortunately, we're going to have people out. You know, people who, I really hope none of you get COVID. I really do, because it's a horrible, horrible disease. But if you are, you might just be too weak to even sign on. So I'm recording for the folks who are able to attend, so that they can see access to it. And then what I'll probably do is I have a YouTube channel. Woohoo! I'm an influencer with 11 subscribers. I will post it there and put the links on. So even if you wanted to like review that while you're studying for a test, you can do that as well. All right, I know I sent it to you last week, but I never like to just throw the syllabus at you. So I am gonna go over it. I know you all know how to read. I know that, but I just think it's helpful for you all to hear it in my voice and understand what I mean by what's on the screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and share that. Get the right window here. Here we go. Ta-da! All right. So here is our syllabus, and you all, like I said, found the Zoom link. Oh, does someone have a question? Okay. Let me know if you do. So I talk really quickly. I'm trying to consciously slow myself down this semester because I know you don't have all the normal cues you would from me. So please let me know in the chat or anywhere if, like Dr. Myers, you're talking a mile a minute, none of us can understand you. All right, so here's my information. I mean, I have this on there, but I'm not really planning to be there all semester. If you do need to call me, this office phone number goes to my voicemail, which gets sent to my email. I really just recommend emailing me. It's the best way to reach me. I always have my email open. I'm always checking it. I got a little hung up with it the last couple weeks, but I'm trying to be much more on top of it now. And usually I'll respond within about 24 to 48 hours. All of my office hours are going to be by appointment. I have giant blocks of time for those. And what I found is that when whether I'm in person or virtually, if I just sit in my office, typically people don't stop by. But if you have an appointment, you feel much more comfortable doing it. So some of you have already done this and set this up, but one of the things I'm going to have you all do at the start of semester is set up an appointment just to get used to the system. And then I can get to y'all. If, you know, weather comes up, end of the semester, we get some snow, or, you know, we're still in hurricane season, or just check the top of the website. They'll put that red banner across the top if there's any delays or closings. Now, I don't know how virtual classes are going to work for delays. I'm assuming I will also be closed, quote unquote, because they won't want anyone to be struggling. But I will wait for instructions from House when that happens, who is our Vice President for Academic Affairs. All right, your books. All right. So you have personality puzzle, and then you have pieces of the personality puzzle. This one, unfortunately, is new, and they changed the chapter numbers. If you bought something before the 7th or before the 8th edition, let me know, and I can match the chapter numbers for you because I had to do it for my syllabus because they changed them a little bit. But I think the material is pretty much the same from what I've seen so far. This one's been out for a while, so you should be able to find this one used, but I would guess fairly cheap. The bookstore does have them. Buy them wherever you can afford them. If you want to use, you know, Abe Books or Amazon or, you know, one of the rental sites, go for it. I'm not technically supposed to tell you all that. I'm supposed to tell you to use the bookstore, but listen, not only are these hard times, but like no one has a lot of money anyway. So, you know, just do what you need to do to make yourself ready for class. There's also additional primary source readings on Blackboard, and I'll show you where to find those as I go over this here. So our course objectives, you're going to learn about theories. And one of the things I really like about Funder, and you'll see this in your first readings for Funder, is he talks a lot about how every theory has its strengths and weaknesses. And actually, he has these different laws, and one of his first laws is a theory's strength is often its greatest weakness as well. So I think that that's really important as we go through any theory, is to think about it critically. And then you're also going to do primary sources. The Pieces book is all foundational reading, so you'll read stuff written by Freud in here. You'll read stuff written by the original folks in their words. So this is like, I've been calling this the extended remix of my attendance and participation policy, because I just had to have a lot more in. So I do want you all to come to class, but I recognize we're in the middle of an unprecedented global pandemic, and some of you are going to have sick family members. Some of you yourselves, unfortunately, might get sick. Some of you might have to work essential jobs, right? And so I am not going to take any points off for missed classes. I do ask that you come whenever you can, because people who come to class do a lot better on the tests and the assignments. But I really recognize and acknowledge that this is a really awful time for everybody, right? So I want to honor that, and that's why I record each class. When we're doing group activities or discussions, especially some of these issues we're going to talk about are kind of touchy, I will turn it off then so you feel comfortable expressing yourself. And then I really don't want you all to record. Again, you'll have full access to my recording. So, you know, if you have any issues with that, just let me know. And then I encourage you to use your cameras, but I know that sometimes it just doesn't work. So like, for example, when I'm on a Zoom session I know is being recorded and my daughter comes over, I turn off my camera because I just don't want her posted publicly. There may be times, again, where you're like caring for someone and so you need to have your camera off. I totally respect that, as long as you're still participating fully. And again, you can use the chat. You can talk. Also, again, if you're around other people, you know, you might want to use earbuds or a headset for no other reason than you might be able to concentrate better. But also, again, some of the stuff we're going to talk about Freud, so we got to talk about Alice's, right? And if you're around anybody that would be embarrassing, feel free to use earbuds that it's more comfortable. I remember one time when I was teaching this class, the surprise, the air conditioning wasn't working in the building I was teaching in. And so I had to have the door open, and it was in a space where there were lots of faculty offices just around the corner. And so I posted something on Facebook afterwards, like, sorry to my colleagues, so I had to learn about that. And one of my colleagues said, oh, I kept walking by because I was curious. Like, okay, glad that you can also learn. So, you know, we'll just make ourselves comfortable and do what we can. So, and this kind of goes along with this. I've never had a problem with this in my classes, but I always throw this in here just to be on the safe side. I want everybody to come fully prepared, especially the days that we discuss the readings from the Pieces book. Our discussion will go a lot better if y'all have read these first, and the Blackboard readings. And then, you know, either have them printed for the Blackboard readings if that's easier for you, or have them ready to pull up on whatever device you're using. And make sure you have this readily accessible when we have those discussion days. You don't need to make sure this one's nearby. I'm going to cover that. It's really well written, though. I actually used, I think, the second edition of this. Wow, I'm dating myself here. When I was in undergrad, and that's why I keep using it. It's just really accessible, which is not always the case with text. Sometimes they just use way too much jargon, right? You all are part of a scholarly community, so like you all did today, come on time, and we'll have some discussion, we'll have lecture, and then you guys aren't just, you know, Brady Bunch talking heads, right? Like, you all will really participate in class and contribute to class, and I really appreciate that. And as I mentioned, some of these things might be controversial, but some of them might draw really personal things. Sometimes my assignment will sort of encourage you to do that, but I just ask that you make things civil and respectful. I actually shared, which I'll touch on later, some group norms on Blackboard that we were just presented with as faculty. We did an unconscious bias workshop last Friday with the Virginia Center for Inclusive Communities, and they gave some really nice guidelines that are good reference for this. Again, something that I usually don't have problems with, but every once in a while, again, because these issues are personal, people kind of forget we should be debating issues, not people. Again, there's going to be times y'all can't come, but please do if you can, because it will be beneficial. I will be taking attendance each day just because the Office of Academic Affairs is asking us to. It's a little less of an issue since we're remote, but just in terms of contact tracing and making sure people are okay, they're asking us to do that. But again, I'm not taking any points off if you're not here. If you don't know anyone in the class, I'd strongly recommend getting to know someone, and then you can share notes, study together. When I took this class in undergrad, I would study with a friend of mine, and I did much better because of it. If for some reason I get COVID, I shouldn't, because I'm sort of in the bubble of my house, but God only knows, right? My husband's out working. So I'll let you know, or academic affairs work. I'll let you know who's going to take over for me. Again, because I'm self-isolating, I really don't think that will happen, but you know, you kind of be prepared for all contingencies. I am really open for you all to comment, question, talk about everything, but please don't use this as like your own therapy. And certainly the biggest thing is like, don't talk about your roommate, a teammate, a friend. BW is a pretty small campus. We're gonna probably figure out who we're talking about, right? And I am always willing to lend a listening ear, but just know that I can't be your therapist for a couple reasons. One, I'm not actually licensed to do therapy. I've chosen to focus on doing teaching and research. And two is that it actually violates the ethics code of the American Psychological Association for me to be in a dual relationship. I have the info for the counseling center in the syllabus. If for some reason that wouldn't work for you, I also have contacts in the community. I'm really glad to connect you to them. Most of those therapists are doing virtual sessions now, so it'd be really easy. You wouldn't have to drive anywhere. Alrighty, you all will get to self-evaluate on your participation in class, and there's the rubric. When we get there, I will actually create this as a Google form and have you fill it out that way. But this is just to give you sort of the anchor score so you have some idea of what we'll be looking for. All right, and like I mentioned, some of you have already done this, but one of the things I'm having you do is set up a meeting with me so you get to know my system. You schedule through this site called Calendly. The Lighthouse also uses it. So if you've scheduled with anyone in the Lighthouse, you might have used this already. And that lets you set up either a Zoom or Google Hangouts meeting, whichever you're more comfortable with. And then we'll just chat and I'll get to know you and you can ask me any questions about the class. I didn't really set a deadline on this. I would say by the midpoint of the semester, just so you know how to do this pretty early in the semester. And my goal for this is not only to get to know you, but also so you know. So if you get to that point in the semester where you really need to ask me questions about something, you already know how to do it, right? So again, this is also how I'm doing office hours, just so that you know I'll be there. I know the time works for you. If you're looking at my Calendly and times work for you, please let me know. I could probably do some evening hours if I need to. Just fill me in. Blackboard's going to be your best friend this semester. Everything's posted there. So just keep an eye on it. You'll turn everything in as well. I also have my PowerPoint slides posted on Blackboard. They're really an outline and I'll talk a lot more. One of the things I'll probably do on Wednesday before we start our first lecture is show you how I take notes when I'm watching a Zoom session. Typically I'll have a Word document open or like the PowerPoint slides and take notes on those, and maybe I'll take like a screenshot. You know, it's actually in a weird way easier for me that way. And what I really recommend is do use those slides so that you're not having to frantically write down or type down what I'm saying and or what's on the slide, and you can focus on what I'm saying because I will expand quite a bit on them. All right, your exams for this class might be a little different than what you're used to. So each exam has two components. One is take home, and they're short answers. And then the other part in class is multiple choice and identifications. And the take home is due at the start of the in-class exam. And what students have told me in the past is the take home was really good studying for the in-class. reason I do this for this class is that to sit with theory and really write well about it, you need more time than you can get in a 50-minute class, right, to write an exam. So I think that having those take-home exams helps. Also, I was never a good in-class exam taker, so I really try to make other things available for y'all. But for those of you who are good at it, you also have that opportunity. Makeup exams, I know that that might happen this semester. We'll figure that out as we go. And the way that I'm gonna do these is I will do the exams through Blackboard, and then I'll open it at the start of class and we can be on Zoom, and then you can like write questions to me in the chat, just like if we were in class and you had questions. So, and I'm not gonna like stare at you while you take it, that'd be awkward. I'll be working on something else. All right, and then this will be the really fun thing to have this virtually, but I know people do this in other classes, so it can be done. So this is something I've done the probably past 3 or 4 times I've taught this class that ends up being really fun and a really nice way to synthesize what we learned throughout the semester. So this is a series of academic games called Reacting to the Past, and you may have even done one. Dr. Casey, Dr. Larkin have all done these in their classes. And ours is called Defining the Mind. And it focuses specifically on psychology and psychiatry in the 70s. And so it was sort of a different world then. Like homosexuality was a disorder back then, which we're all really ashamed of now within our field. And there were other things going on that like we were still just figuring out how to do any kind of therapy besides traditional psychoanalysis. So you will actually play a real life character, someone who, you know, existed or might even still be alive. So for example, one of the people that is a character in our game is Kenneth Clark. You may have heard because of the experiments he did with his wife, Mamie Phipps Clark. Part of an amicus brief that was part of the Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court case. So very cool characters, and people generally like this and have fun. So you'll get your roles assigned, and then we'll spend a day just covering what the heck are we doing. And then I'll do Zoom breakout rooms, talk to people in your factions. You'll have like the cognitive faction and the this faction and the that faction. And then you will prepare an abstract for this mock conference we're gonna have. We'll have a couple days of it before Thanksgiving break, which is a week now. And then we'll have the break for Thanksgiving, come back and finish it out in class. You'll give at least one speech during the convention. These are like really short. Most people, I think, end up being like 2 to 5 minutes. And then during our exam time, we will use it for either finishing up the simulation or doing a lot of reflection on it. And so you do have a bunch of written assignments related to these. I have to say, if people follow the guidelines for these, which are laid out in the syllabus, most people get full points for these. So this is a really nice way to boost your grade at the end of the semester too. And then the last points-based thing you'll do throughout the semester is in-class assignments. Most of these will be group assignments we'll do in Zoom breakout rooms that will talk about the discussion readings. But every once in a while, there might be one that's more personal where I ask you to do it individually to reflect on it. So you can see you end up with 700 points for the semester. I did eliminate another big project that you all typically do. There's typically a group project, and I just wasn't sure how that would work. And it seemed like a lot in light of everything going on. So I dropped that, so you have one less thing to worry about this semester. You can see how the points break down. There should be at least a couple students doing Psych 480 projects, so you should get some extra credit opportunities that way through SONA, and we can talk about SONA more as those come up. I might even be running a study, we'll see. We have to figure out how to do it remotely. If you want extra credit and you don't want to be a guinea pig, I respect that. So you can instead write some little short papers. If you have accessibility issues, contact Chris. And if you're having any medical conditions, he is the person you are to contact as well. If you end up diagnosed positive with COVID, the people you should contact are either Bill Brown in the Counseling Center, April in the Office of Academic Affairs, or Carla in the business office. She's our head of HR. I would recommend April. They're both trained counselors, so they'll be incredibly supportive in addition to everything else. And I can also help you with that process if unfortunately that arises. And so because psychology is something that brings stuff up for people, I always put the Counseling Center info on here for you all. It's free. That's like ridiculous for therapy. I always tell the story of when I was on my residency, there was a client who came to see me and didn't have insurance, and I didn't send any of the rates, the facility did, but she had to pay, I think it was $175 an hour to see me and another $100 an hour facility fee. As opposed to free. So I always recommend it. In addition to Bill, he usually has some interns from Regent or other local places. I don't know how that's working for them this semester. They might be doing things remotely. But definitely please use this resource. Again, it's an amazing deal. And also Bill is great, as are the people he works with. This is a weird semester in terms of the workload, right? Like, we're all going to be taking tests from home and working from home. And I just ask that you all be honest. You know, if you need help, reach out to me. Don't cheat. I mean, it just doesn't benefit you. And honestly, I've had students try to cheat in this class in the past, and they actually did worse. Like, they were copying off of someone who was they also failed. So it's just not worth it. Just take the time to study, and you'll be fine. Alrighty, so here is our tentative schedule. I'm not going to go over this in super long detail. Oh, cool. Thanks, Miranda, for the insight. She says the interns are pretty rad. Yeah, I was an intern, you know, and I was a student for 5 years where I was seeing clients. And I think I was a pretty good therapist. The only reason I don't do therapy is that, like, it was really bad for me because I can't separate things, and I was waking up in the middle of the night worried about my clients. So yeah, please don't take the fact that there are students scare you. They're supervised and they're really well trained. So and often they kind of know the most recent research because they're being taught it, so they can do stuff that works. All right, so we are going to dive in starting Wednesday. We'll do our first lecture. So do read Founder Chapter 1. So these are the readings due by the time class starts that day. People sometimes ask me that. And then you'll see some of this stuff will feel like you, in any psychology class, we got to talk about research methods. We will talk about assessment a little bit. That's kind of fun. How do we actually test someone's personality? And then I have always had the multicultural day early in the semester. I think shoving it at the end of the semester is really problematic. And this year I'm especially glad to have it there. A lot of time talking about Freud, good old Freud. And then we'll talk about the post-Freudians. We'll talk about humanists like Carl Rogers. We'll talk about trait theory. What I really like is you read people like Alport and Michelle who like, disagreed with each other whether traits even existed. So it's kind of fun to read them in their actual words. We'll talk about learning theory, which has about 10 different names because in psychology we can never agree on something. So we'll have fun with that. We'll talk about evolutionary theory and behavioral genetics, which is somewhat controversial, but interesting. And then we'll spend the last sort of quarter of the semester doing our simulation. So, any questions about the syllabus? I try to like painstakingly spell things out, but please let me know if you have questions. Your individual meetings again are really nice to do that. Alrighty, so I am going to stop sharing so that we can see each other a little bit better. I'll have you all in. So there's like no good way to do this in Zoom. because it's like, who goes first? I don't know. So I would say go to the participant list. And the only problem is you will not be in alphabetical order, so that will feel weird, but essentially alphabetical order by first name, except for me, for some reason, Carly is above, I don't know why. But so Carly, I'll have you start since you floated top of the list, and then we'll go Amanda, then Amanda. Just try to follow down the list to help if there's an awkward pause. So what I want you to say is your name, your pronouns, your class year, and then there's a lot of crummy stuff happening right now. So tell me something you're looking forward to this semester. So name, pronouns, class year, and something you're looking forward to. And it doesn't have to be this class, just like life in general. There's got to be something good coming up. So I'm going to mute myself, but Carly, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Carly Williams. I go by her, she. I'm a senior, and something that I'm looking forward to is most likely starting an internship at the Children's Hospital, doing research with their one of their psychiatrists. So that's something I'm really excited about.
Oh, which Amanda is going? You said Amanda's are next? Okay, I'll go. I'm Amanda Stegman. I'm a junior, and I go by her and she, and I'm looking forward to celebrating my 21st birthday on October 25th. I don't know what kind of celebration it's going to be since COVID's around, but I mean, I'll be 21, so that's exciting.
Yeah, and one thing I forgot to say is if you're something other than your like printed name you prefer to be called, let me know that too now. But the other Amanda. Amanda Irvin, are you there?
I think she's muted.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself down in the lower left-hand corner. All right, we'll come back to her in case she had to step away. So I think next is Anaya? Sorry if I butchered your name.
You're fine. It's Anya. My name's Anya. I go by her and she. I'm a senior, and I'm looking forward to doing my practicum for my senior year at a daycare. Yeah.
I think next up is Bianca.
My name is Bianca Atkinson. For pronoun, I just use her, she, and I'm a sophomore. And something I'm looking forward to, I guess, like stuff going back to normal, you know, being able to like have activities and hang out with everybody.
Amanda Irvin, do you want to go now?
Yeah, sorry, I had to leave and rejoin. It wasn't working. So my name is Amanda Irvin. I go by her, she. I am married. I have a 10-year-old son, and my sister and my niece live with me during all COVID craziness. And I'm a junior studying social work and minoring in psychology, and I'm looking forward to Halloween.
Looks up next is Debbie and then Dylan.
Hello, I'm Debbie Buckaloo. I go by she, her. I am, I guess, a junior. This is my first semester at Wesleyan. I just graduated from TCC with my associates in May. So I am really looking forward to figuring out how this college works because I'm very new.
My name is Dylan. I go by he, him. I'm a senior English major, and I'm looking forward to the NFL starting again.
Yeah, hopefully they can all stay safe. Looks like Erin is next.
Hi, I'm Erin. I am a junior and my pronouns are her, she, and I'm looking forward to just being back. Last year I had transferred out and I really missed this school. I was very surprised, but yeah, I missed it, so I'm back.
It looks like Callie, and then someone who's using their username.
Hi, my name is Callie. I go by her and she. I am a junior now, and one thing I'm looking forward to this semester is, I guess, going back to normal as well. It sucks not having like my friends in my room right now because they're always in my room. But yeah.
Yeah, I have to say it sucks not being able to be there in person with y'all. Like, this is not ideal. All right, so it looks like Kirad, K-A.
Yeah, the D just like went on there and I didn't know how to fix it. But my name's Kira. I'm a freshman. I go by her and she, and I'm also a swimmer, so I'm looking forward to getting back in the water soon.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point, Kira. Thanks for pointing that out. So if you all do want to change your display names, if you hover over your own picture, you'll see 3 little dots in the upper right-hand corner of your picture. And one of the things is rename. So change it to whatever you want to be called. One of the things I've seen people do is like put their pronouns on there. You all don't have to do that if you don't want to, but like if I wanted to change it, I could do that, for example. So lots of options and if you just want to make it your first name to know each other, that's fine too. So it looks up, next up is, well, it looks like, actually I think Kenzie should be next, so why don't you go?
All right, my name's Kenzie. My pronouns are her and she, and I'm looking forward to finishing this year so I can start my dental school.
Looks like Macy, then Mary, then Miranda.
Hi, I'm Macy. I go by her, she. I'm a junior and I'm looking forward to moving out. I'm currently in the process of trying to find my own apartment.
Hi, I'm Mary. I go by her and she. I'm a senior and I'm just looking forward to having a good semester.
Hi, I'm Miranda. I'm terribly sorry if the birds make loud sounds because I have birds. I go by she, her. I'm a senior and I am looking forward to my work at the SPCA. I work at the Virginia Beach SPCA and I get to take care of animals. Right now I have like 7 foster hamsters. So but you didn't know you could foster hamsters. But yeah, I'm looking forward to just continuing with my
I think it's me, right? I don't want. Okay. I'm Romina. I go by she, her. I'm a junior, I guess, but like Debbie, I just transferred from a different school. I got my associate's degree in New Jersey. So I just moved here to Virginia, and I'm looking forward for stuff to go back to normal and be able to meet people because I don't know anyone here. So yeah.
Well, welcome, and hopefully you can at least get to know some people virtually. It's just a weird time.
I guess it's my turn, alphabetically, yeah. My name is Savasia. I go by she, her. I am a senior, and I think I'm looking forward to everything going back to normal, having a good semester, but I want to go out. I just turned 21, so I want to go like to a bar and without having to wear a mask and, you know, do everything, so.
think next up is Shamir, and I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I'm horrible with names, y'all. The Zoom's actually going to help me by having your names on there. I'll learn your names a lot faster.
My name is Shamir. My pronouns are her and she. I transfer I came from Alabama A&M. I'm a junior, and I'm looking forward to discovering the campus, meeting new people.
All right, and Haley, I think we somehow skipped you, so why don't we come back to you?
Hi, I'm Haley. I'm a sophomore. For pronouns, I use she and her, and I'm looking forward to my classes this year.
Awesome. And I know we have two more people, one of whom already told me she'd be out today, and the other one I haven't heard from, but hopefully she'll be here. Is there anyone I missed who's not on my list? Did I get everybody? Awesome. All right, we only have 3 minutes left, but I'll do a quick crash course of Blackboard so that you can use it before the next day. Oh, actually, we have 4 minutes left. My computer clock is early for some reason. So let me pull this up. Okay, so here is our Blackboard page. And I know some of you have already signed on, but I just wanted to orient you to things. As important stuff comes up, I'll post it here. And you can always find another copy here. And then the info for the Zoom, I sent you all, and I know some of you already answered yes to it. I sent you all a calendar invite, so it should populate your Google Calendar, but you can always find it on Blackboard too. The other thing, and if you all want to start this while I am looking, I will throw this in the chat for you all. So I have a little first day of a school poll that I'd like you all to complete. If you can now, if you have to jet off someplace before Wednesday. Again, just let me get to know you all a little bit better. So that's in the chat. You can click it from there and start doing it if you want while I'm filling this out or going through all this. I have a VWU's non-discrimination statement posted here, as well as those group norms I talked about from the VCIC. So talking one at a time, that gets a little hard on Zoom because you can't see people's cues as well. So we'll figure out a system as we go through. Using I statements for controversial things, not like those people talk about how things affect you, right? Keeping anything confidential. Don't leave class and be like, can you believe what someone said? Assume that people have purity of motive. If they mess up, explain how it's hurtful and then educate. And I'll try to be the one who does that. But sometimes you all catch it before I do. Share the air, so don't be over dominant, and make sure that you if you're quiet, and then take responsibility for what you say and how you say it. Other things we have here, so I have PDFs of all my lecture notes, and they're organized by exam. You can see them that way. And also the PowerPoints, if you prefer to just download the actual PowerPoint, I have those accessible as well. All of your Blackboard supplemental readings through the semester are posted here. We don't have one for every time we read something, but there are a few that I put in. Again, a lot of these are to try to get different perspectives, or some of them are because as a clinician, I like to hear the voices of some of these other folks. Your take-home exams are already posted for the semester, so if you wanted to pretend you could, I recommend waiting till we talk about it in class. I do have samples that I got permission from a student to post, a while ago, 6 years ago now, if you want to take a look at someone who did this really well. She wrote them more as essays, but for you all, I want you to just answer each piece. And then your assignments for your group work will be posted here throughout the semester. Your exams will be posted here throughout the semester. So we will keep updating those things as through. And then there's also all the information you're going to end up needing for the simulation here as well. So we are right on time. That rarely happens for me. So I will let you all go. I'm going to hang around for a few minutes in case anyone has any questions. And like I said, if you have time, go ahead and fill out that questionnaire now and submit it. If not, if you need to jet to your next class in person or something like that, go for it. But like I said, I'll hang around here, and then as soon as you're done with it, you're done. Or you can just sign off now. You don't have to stay on Zoom if you don't want to.
I have a question about scheduling a meeting with you. I did that for advising. Should I do it again or?
No, we're good. I'll make sure I'll go ahead and give you the points.
Yeah. All right. Bye, Dan. Have a nice day.
Bye. Have a good day.